Hello, I'm Peter Bishop, CIGRE Australia B5 panel convener. In this technical seminar presentation, I will be reporting on the international and local activities of the CIGRE Australia B5 panel over the last year. It is noted that the main requirement of protection is to detect and isolate faults like those associated with transmission line lightning strikes. The scope of the B5 group concerns protection, automation and control systems, abbreviated to PACS. It considers the functional principles, design, applications and management of power systems. It also incorporates monitoring, recording and metering. It further relates to communication between devices and externally, plus interfaces to remote control. Power system and technology changes mean new protection challenges and focus areas for the B5 Study Committee, particularly with the application of more distributed energy resources and interconnections. There is a need to focus on the end-to-end power system, including distribution, generation, transmission and DC networks. Future topics for preferential subjects and working groups include focus on interoperability of devices, engineering and test tools, examining requirements for renewable generation including fault detection, and managing PAC communication networks. Like last year, web-based sessions replaced the in-person Paris International event. The same relevant subjects were examined: human aspects in protection, automation and control, and communication networks in protection, automation and control, experience and challenges. However, instead of the 2020 paper presentation sessions, this year international contributions were presented that responded to special report questions that further explored worldwide practice and experience on the subjects. 5 Australia and New Zealand contributions were included. In addition, a B5 tutorial was presented on protection, automation and control of the evolving grid. The special report question themes on the first topic on human aspects and protection were associated with human event categories, causes, impacts, risk management and controls for prevention. The many special report question contribution responses included examples of standardization issues and solutions, where the slide illustrates that non-standard test block allocations led to an incorrect tripping, and an examination and solutions. Tools to assist maintenance with scripts and augmented realities. New technology testing to reduce human involvement and errors. In this case, a I61850 process bus injection, simulation and analysis system. And new technology automated design methods to reduce operator designer action, with this slide illustrating predictive special protection scheme that performs online modelling and calculations to control generation and stabilise the network. Special reporter questions on the second topic of communication networks in protection, automation and control systems related to standardisation, redundancy, cybersecurity, monitoring and testing. Some contribution highlights include a Canadian implementation of a routable goose wide area remedial action scheme to control generation, Brazilian grid code revisions to include requirements for network monitoring, cybersecurity and redundancy, and developments of algorithms for emerging software-defined networks, which aim to quickly determine the best communication path. During the session, An online audience poll was conducted on the status of digital substation rollout. Over 70% of respondents stated that field trials were planned or underway. During the July 2021 Australia B5 panel meeting, the special reporter questions were discussed and 5 contributions were developed. I then presented these contributions at the August 2021 Paracentennial virtual session. The contributions covered Australian and New Zealand experience in response to selected special reporter questions and included the interplay between standardisation and reliability, examples of design features to replace or reduce written procedures, examples of automated testing methods to reduce errors, and adoption of new communication technology for protection and automation. CIGRE Australia B5 panel membership has grown to 39 members. Despite the present global and national situation, the panel is progressing with activities, some in a different way or in a different format. The panel representatives presently contribute to 16 working groups and convene 1 Green Book task force. A Green Book is a reference publication on a particularly important topic. Listed are some of the working group topics that I think are particularly relevant to Australia and New Zealand. This includes the relatively recently established working group on modelling, assessment and mitigation of protection performance issues caused by power plants, including synchronous condensers, during grid dynamic events. Another important new working group is the one on architecture, standards and specification for metering systems in the digital substation and PACS environment. I'm also convening the Study Committee B5 Green Book titled IEC 61850 Principles and Applications to Electric Power Systems. This is a very relevant topic for digital substations. IEC 61850 is a standard for communication between devices. Rather than analog signals over wire, digital signals are sent generally using fibre. Over the year, a group of experts have been attending a number of web meetings. Chapters have been drafted and we are presently completing a peer review process before submitting the book to the publisher for their review. This year, a more conventional annual CIGRE Australia B5 panel meeting was held online over 2 days. During the meeting, contributions to the B5 Study Committee Special Reporter questions were discussed and developed. Several panel members gave presentations on recent developments and local events. This included a very interesting presentation on the TAS network synchrophaser applications and experience. Every second year, the panel organises the Southeast Asia Protection, Automation and Control Conference. The next conference was scheduled for Brisbane in 2021. Due to the ongoing COVID-19 virus situation and the desire to hold a complete face-to-face event, the B5 panel and CIGRE Australia have decided that the next physical event will be in 2023. We'll start promoting the event next year. Throughout the year, panel members have shared their experience on different protection topics using the web-based CIGRE knowledge management system. Examples of topics shared and discussed online in 2021 are under-frequency load shedding designs and the protection of auxiliary transformers connected to the tertiary of main transformers. Another activity was to support the newly formed CIGRE New Zealand B5 Mirror Panel. Several hybrid meetings have taken place during 2021, discussing local protection topics, mainly associated with distribution and generation networks. The output of a working group is a technical brochure. These can provide information on practices, guidelines, experiences, and learnings. 3 B5 technical brochures, particularly relevant to Australia and New Zealand, have been published in the last year. The brochure on IEC 61850 based substation automation systems, user expectations and stakeholder interaction highlights many concerns and details either what has been done to address these concerns or the work currently in progress. The brochure on challenges with series compensation applications in power systems when overcompensating lines includes consideration of protection challenges, particularly for voltage or current inversions that can cause maloperation for protection of the circuit or adjacent circuits. The brochure on life cycle testing of synchrophaser-based systems used for protection monitoring and control considers applicable standards in different architectures. It then discusses the need to develop processes and perform a range of tests based on the application. That concludes the presentation. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me at the email address on the title slide. Thank you.